Watch this.
It's Tuesday. You know what that means? We're diving into the 208, and a lot to get into. We'll start with this. Changes in coverage for an epilepsy drug are making the only 4 specialists in the state of Idaho speak out, and they're telling us the alternative drug is worse. Andrew Bartline explains. In the politics sphere, we totally get that the whole GOP caucus and primary thing is very confusing. And we got a few more questions from you that we're going to answer after we talked about deadlines and affiliation and all the elections coming up. So yes, we will clear up your caucus primary questions ahead on the 208.
It's a little strange.
And Thursday is Turkey Day, Thanksgiving, right? You ever wanted a turkey to mess with an ex-lover? Maybe do something gross to it? Well, I don't know why you wouldn't think that, but they did in 1999. It's one of the oddest bingo games we've ever seen, and we are checking it out in today's 208 Redial thanks to John Miller. You'll have to see exactly what we're talking about. 208 starts now. A segment of specialists in the state of Idaho's healthcare community, they say they're drawing a hard line. Say a local health insurance company blindsided their patients with a brand new policy. It's about the coverage of a very specific anti-seizure medication used to treat epilepsy, and it's called cenobamate, and it's been the go-to drug for many people diagnosed with epilepsy since 2020. And that's not unique. Healthcare companies make changes regularly, but this was the straw that broke the camel's back for the Epilepsy Foundation of Idaho. They say that this doesn't serve people and creates nothing but additional problems for people who only need help. Here's Andrew Bartline.
A medical practice on the downtown Boise margin boasts a similar specialty.
Yes.
Dr. Wexler is an epileptologist.
Well, for the longest time, there was only one.
One?
Right.
In the whole state. Success on the margins brings that number today up to 4.
We've developed a really nice relationship because we share the specialty interest.
And they share the same problems and pain points.
I probably carry an extra full-time employee just to fight with insurance companies.
The margins.
Red tape.
And if left untreated or improperly managed, the potential consequences of an epileptic seizure are front and center.
A person could have a seizure and die in a month without medication.
About 1 in 26 people are diagnosed with epilepsy at some point in their life. Most are seizure-free after 1 or 2 medications.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But the remainders, those left on the margins,
these are the people that need it.
they only received notification they'd be left behind.
The letter says your drug will no longer be covered as of January 1st, and you will be responsible for all of it. Period.
Blue Cross of Idaho sent a letter to multiple patients at Dr. Wexler's practice, specifically to those currently prescribed cenobamate. The letter offers an alternative drug in its place, a drug Wexler says is less effective, less safe.
Imagine you're a patient who's been having uncontrolled seizures for 10 years. You're finally seizure-free. You just got your driving privileges back. And you get a letter from your insurance company saying in 2 months we're not paying for your medicine anymore?
A medicine that's working.
It's terrifying.
It's not in a vacuum. Coverage denial is a normal function of the insurance industry.
The system is designed to wear us down to the point where we give up. As a medical community, I don't think we push back often enough or hard enough.
All 4 epileptologists in the state drew a hard line, leading to a nuanced answer. Blue Cross of Idaho actually will cover cenobamate up to, but not including, the margins.
We can't say the people that can afford the most expensive insurance can have the drug, and the people who have to buy the cheaper insurance aren't allowed to be on it. That's not okay.
In a statement, Blue Cross responded to an open letter detailing these concerns. It was signed by all 4 of Idaho's epileptologists. It reads, quote, Blue Cross of Idaho has set up a meeting with the Epilepsy Foundation of Idaho. We're pleased to sit down and discuss this complex issue and ensure they have an understanding of our coverage and formulary. It's starting a dialogue.
We're thrilled that Blue Cross is willing to meet with us.
But brushing by a solution at the center of a greater problem.
And the issue isn't just this one drug, though. The bigger issue is the way that these decisions are made.
Blue Cross of Idaho and the Epilepsy Foundation of Idaho, the organization that represents these 4 specialists in the state, officially have that meeting scheduled for December 8th. It seems communication has been a large issue back and forth through this process, where coverage of cenobamate, that preferred drug by the specialist, is not entirely eliminated for everyone. There's nuance in it, but the letters that Blue Cross sent out to those specific patients, that letter did not have the nuance. So that was the problem there, Joe, is these people go to their specialists and say, he gave that example, that anecdote. Yeah. I've had problems with other medications. This hasn't been working for me. I get on this drug, things are great. Now they're taking it away from me. Well, depending on their policy, maybe yes, maybe no. And then that's another frustration he has of, we're going to pick winners and losers here. He says, well, that's discriminatory. So they're going to open up a dialogue, have a discussion about it. But there were a lot of patients who got these letters that are very concerned. Those specialists in the state say, we're drawing a hard line. We've seen enough of this. And this is kind of the poster child for a larger issue that they've been dealing with. Yeah, and communication, no matter the industry, is very key. And those letters that come out and you get in your mailbox, it's a very scary letter. To find out, okay, I have this medicine, as you described, is helping me, and now I don't have access to it. What am I going to do? And also, too, another factor is the cost of all of it. Mm-hmm. Someone who wants that drug and it's not covered under their insurance, they may say, okay, well, I'm going to get this drug no matter what it costs, because it's made my life easier. And that might be the outcome for some people. Wow, okay. Andrew Bartline reporting. Thank you so much. When Idaho became a state in the year 1889, Congress gave the gem state some endowment trust land to generate funds for a group of beneficiaries, many, but mostly public schools. Over 3.5 million acres were originally allocated to the state of Idaho. And over the years, some land has been consolidated and other pieces sold for the sole purpose of generating money for the beneficiaries. That's what endowment land is for. And today, Idaho's endowment, it sits at about 2.5 million acres. And proceeds from the sale of endowment land and income generated by the land and earnings invested, they've accumulated over the years since 1889 to $2.9 billion as of June 30th of this year. So the endowment fund in Idaho supports public schools, and there's a huge list of beneficiaries. And on this Transparency Tuesday, the Idaho Controller's Office, they shared the annual report on Idaho's land grant endowment. And every Tuesday, the Controller's Office, the State Controller, Brandon Wolf, he sends out a new publication to show what's going on behind the scenes. And this week, the topic endowment. And you could see over the last 10 years, Idaho reports hundreds of millions in endowment distributions. And the latest report just published for this fiscal year. Public schools rank #1 at $450 million in the last 10 years. In total, $726 million. And in 2023, Idaho reports $100 million in all distributions for the year. In the endowment fund investment portfolio, it did lose 13% in fiscal year 2022. You can see the graph going down. It was a tough year for investing, but a major bounce back we've learned here in 2023 of more than $2 billion. So the value of the endowment fund is impressive. The net fund now worth $2.9 billion. All right, let's talk justice. Idaho's 4th Judicial District Court has a new member on the bench, and that is a district that includes Ada, Boise, Elmore, and Valley counties. But Ada County specifically, they have a new judge that was selected by the Magistrates Commission. It's Ada County Prosecutor Matthew Haynes. Haynes fills the vacancy left behind by Judge Annie McDevitt. She was appointed to the district bench. So Haynes, a little backstory for him, he was admitted to the Idaho bar in 2013, began working at the Ada County Prosecutor's Office in March of 2015. And according to a news release, he most recently served on the Ada County District Court felony trial team. He also served on the board of directors for the Idaho Peace Officers Memorial over the last 8 years. Your question time. Some confusion out there on the Idaho caucus and primary situation. We'll continue to follow it. Yesterday, we discussed some of the deadlines for party affiliation, and it really highlights the difference between state-run and party-run elections. And it prompted some great questions from you at home. And we wanted to touch on a couple of common ones. We saw this asked in different ways. So let's go through this together. And please, we'll share this information with people. We'll share it with you. You share it with your friends. So first question, this person says, so confusing. Will I, as a Republican, be able to vote for a presidential candidate in the Idaho primary, like choosing between DeSantis, Nikki Haley, et cetera? Or is the primary just for everything else Republican? Is the point of the
Republican caucus to come up with just one Republican presidential candidate to put on the Republican primary ballot, making things confusing. So a big question there from Lynn in Meridian. So a lot of things to get to. Let's go in order of elections coming up in detail what is on the ballot. First for you, the GOP caucus in March is the only time for Republican voters to weigh in on who they want to earn Idaho's delegate votes for the GOP convention. And at the end of the caucus in March for the Republicans, Idaho will either support Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis. Those are the two registered candidates as of now. More could join. We'll let you know if they do. But that's it for the March caucus. After March, Idaho voters will not vote on anything presidential until November 2024, later in the year for the general election. So the May primary is a couple of months after that March caucus. In the primary, we'll see state races, Republicans versus Republicans, Dems versus Dems, and things like primary races for the legislature with the winners going on to the November general election. So hopefully that clears that up. But we do have another question here on the topic. This person says, why does Idaho have presidential caucuses and a presidential primary? That's from Kathy in Ketchum. So good question. We don't have both in the same year, but I know why there's some confusion because previously, Idaho did have a primary, but this time around, there is just the caucuses for the GOP and the Dems later in the year. And those are in March and May, respectively. But all of this, the situation is in part because of a law that passed through the State House earlier this year. Lawmakers passed and Governor Brad Little signed House Bill 138, and they were looking to consolidate the March presidential primary and the May primary. So the election date, all of that came together. The new law inadvertently eliminated the presidential primary because of a technical error, and lawmakers tried to fix it at the end of the session, but they were unable to. It died in committee, the bill that would have fixed it, leaving a void for what to do with the presidential primary. So the answer is a caucus. That's why you had a primary previously and a caucus this cycle. All right, so what else is going on across the 208? More Mpox cases. We have some ways for you to give and ways to get into the holiday spirit. Abby Davis has the 411.
Southwest District Health said Mpox, formerly known as monkeypox, is here. The first reported case was a man in Canyon County. It was detected in mid-November. Epidemiologists say they don't know the source, but that there is a small outbreak in Ada County. The virus spreads through close contact, usually skin to skin. Symptoms include fever, chills, swelling of the lymph nodes, and a skin rash that looks like pimples or blisters. If you've been in close contact with someone with Mpox, monitor for symptoms for 21 days. If symptoms develop, contact your local health district for further guidance. It's the season of giving, and right now, you can give to 7 Cares Idaho Shares, the annual safety net fundraiser benefiting 9 Idaho charities who serve hungry families and people experiencing homelessness. Last year, you helped us raise $282,000, 85,000 pounds of food, and enough to provide for 918,000 meals. Check out ktvb.com to find out how you can donate. This year's event is Saturday, December 9th. The Rupert Police Department will be known as Christmas City Police Department, at least for a little while. A pretty big claim if you ask us, but it tracks back to November of 1987 when Governor Cecil D. Andrus proclaimed the city of Rupert as Christmas City, USA. So Rupert Police are going along with the tradition.
Even if they might not be feeling that holiday spirit, once they come here, they usually end up, when they leave, feeling it.
The 39th annual St. Alphonsus Festival of Trees kicks off tomorrow at the Boise Center. 85 Christmas trees and more than 350 decorated wreaths and other holiday decor will be on display. And of course, Santa will be there too. Money from the festival will go to the St. Alphonsus Cancer Institute. Tickets range from $6 to $10. You can buy them at the door or online. And that's the 411 on the 208. I'm Abby Davis.
What are some of your family traditions for Thanksgiving? Maybe a little football in the yard, or maybe a good game of something else, maybe bingo? Well, how about bingo where if you win, a turkey goes to the bathroom on a picture of your ex-lover? Yep, that's what they were doing 24 years ago this week. So we're going to show you this throwback story after the break in today's John Miller 208 Redial. But seriously, we'd love to hear about your odd or special Thanksgiving traditions, or really anything else about our show. You can text comments, questions to the number on your screen, 208-321-5614, and please include your name and hashtag the 208. And please keep the messages clean, concise, and clever. And we're going to show some of your comments live at the end of the show, so stay tuned. You might see yours on screen. Thanksgiving right around the corner, 2 days away, and it's the time to be able to be with your loved ones and bask in the different holiday traditions. Some traditions might be a little messy or smelly or downright gross, like the foul fun in today's 208 redial. This is from 24 years ago this week. Here is the accomplished John Miller.
It's sick, rude, and tasteless.
It's turkey bingo.
And it's foul fun for everyone.
Don't you think? What a way to start the holiday season off right.
What's involved here?
Well, let's see, we have one Thanksgiving turkey, 16 pictures of people's exes.
Ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, ex-wives, ex-husbands, and they each got their own square.
And the object is?
It's supposed to on a picture.
It's a little strange.
It's Mix 106's way of kicking off the festivities of the holiday season with having a turkey deposit on someone's ex.
Is this turkey really gonna come through for us?
We're hoping.
And wondering, would it be him or her or him? Everyone begging, please, on my ex.
I think it's great.
Knowing a good round of turkey bingo can only have one outcome.
Oh, man.
And there it was on contestant number 10.
She really let loose on him.
I gotta say though, number 15 over there.
15's looking pretty bad too, so we're gonna give 15 a prize. Melissa Etheridge tickets.
That'll be good for front row seats there.
Kicking off the holiday season,
On the right foot.
or in this case, the right face. John Miller, Idaho's News Channel 7.
Well, we hope the winner loved their Melissa Etheridge tickets. And if you don't know her, she sings I'm the Only One and Like the Way I Do. She's now 62 years old, still touring, by the way. But back to the bingo. If this is still happening, we would love to know. And again, send us your unique form of bingo or whatever's going on in your holidays for Thanksgiving.
hoping this view wouldn't go away before we came back on air, and it is still here. Live look at the sunset over Boise right now. Absolutely stunning. Technically, the sun has gone down. 5:15 was our sunset time this evening, but still a really beautiful end to the evening. 45 degrees right now in the City of Trees. Observed highs today got us up to 48 in Boise. Mountain Home did hit 50 this afternoon, upper 40s in the Magic Valley, and generally low to mid 40s for those high temperatures in the mountains under what was a mostly clear sky for most of us. So this is pretty typical for this point in November, still a couple degrees above average. Here's what's on the way, though. We do have a cold front that will be on the move tomorrow, so temperatures will actually warm just a couple of degrees for Wednesday before that front comes in. It will trigger some showers late in the day. Thanksgiving, we have snow that will develop for our east central mountain locations, the southern Sawtooth and the Magic Valley into eastern Idaho. I know it's a big travel week, so that's something to be aware of. Inches of snow possible from Twin Falls eastward towards Pocatello and Idaho Falls, possibly even a few flurries late Thursday into Friday for Boise. After that, clear but cold for Black Friday and beyond. Very cold over the weekend, but we'll have some sunshine, so that's the trade-off. All right, in advance of the winter weather coming in, there's already a winter weather advisory in effect from 5 a.m. Thursday, Thanksgiving, to 5 a.m. Friday for the area shaded in purple. That's all of southern Idaho, south central Idaho, eastern Oregon. Here's the front that will be making its way toward the Gem State tomorrow. What's going to happen is this front will come in late Wednesday, and early Thursday morning, the impacts of that front will combine with some Arctic air that is dropping in with a low pressure system from Canada. It'll start moving its way to the south on Thursday. So all that comes together, it'll intensify the front, it will intensify that low pressure and create some significant snowfall on Thursday. So we're talking by Thursday morning, possibly 1 inch of snow already on the ground for Twin Falls, possibly 1 to 2 inches for Haley. During the day Thursday into Friday morning, we'll add maybe an inch or two more, but you combine the snow with dropping temperatures, roads could become snow covered and very slick. So some tricky travel developing for Thanksgiving Day. Boise area, no accumulating snow, mostly just rain for us late Wednesday into Thursday morning, but possibly late Thursday into Friday if the precipitation holds on long enough, we could have a flurry. Here's a look at your turkey dressing for a Thursday in Boise. The conditions will start off in the mid 30s in the morning, so your turkey bowls will be very cold. We have a brisk wind that will set in on Thanksgiving Day behind that front tomorrow night. Temperatures up to 47 or so on Thursday afternoon, dropping quickly in the evening back down to 40 degrees or so. So tomorrow morning we'll wake up to temperatures again in the mid 20s. We'll get to highs around 50 degrees or so for our Wednesday afternoon. Again, much colder after all of that. Our 7-day forecast shows a high of 47 with that brisk wind and some showers early on Thursday. Clear and cold this weekend with highs only around 40 degrees starting on Saturday.
All right, let's get some of your comments to end this program. This person says, I love how insurance companies become doctors and know what is best for you. My husband has experienced the same issues with insurance. With his illness, it's an ongoing battle. Tammy, if you've ever had to wrestle with the insurance companies, you know what that's like. On politics, this person wants to know who pays for the caucuses. Thanks for the question, Jan. The caucuses are party elections, so the parties are responsible for paying for them and running them. All right, if I can get this going. Maybe the device went early on Thanksgiving. This person says you forgot to mention that the reason Idahoans only going to go for 2 Republican candidates for president at this time is because the Idaho GOP raised the fee from $10,000 to $50,000. That's correct. It is a $50,000 fee to get on the ballot in Idaho. If you come into the state, though, and you come do a visit, you actually are entitled to get half that back. Chris points out that Idaho became a state in 1890. Correct. In 1889, when I was referencing, is that's when they got the endowment land taken care of. So 1890, though, that is correct. And finally, yes, we got a lot of Thanksgiving traditions we have to get to this week. We'll talk about more tomorrow.